Hey guys, today I'm here with Brett. Brett's someone who I'm buddies with. I've also become an advisor and investor in his company. He runs a company called Gatsby. We're going to go through kind of how it works. It's going to be a super actionable interview. That way, you guys can learn who on your list and who in your audience has influence. And Brett is going to kind of share with us that process of identifying influencers or who has influence on social and ways in which you can kind of contact them and how that data is stored. Brett, welcome and how are you?
Awesome, Chase. Thanks for having me on here with you. I'm honored you chose to advise with us and invest with us. It's I don't know, it's pretty touching, and I appreciate all your help along the way so far.
Yeah, man, absolutely. The product speaks for itself. Do you want to give a
Yeah.
quick kind of background on the company? I probably butchered it. I tried my best, but like, what's the high level of the company? And then I'll let you run with it.
Yeah. So a little bit of a story. I started this company a few years ago, actually about 5 years ago now, and it wasn't even doing what it's totally different, right? It's evolved with customer feedback over the past 5 years. But what kind of at its core we've always been looking to accomplish is how to scale influencer marketing so that it could be as effective as a acquisition channel for brands as Facebook ads and Google ads are, right? Because essentially the barriers to entry to become a Shopify merchant or to be an e-commerce merchant are very low, right? It doesn't take much, 29 bucks a month, and you can have, a store up and running within a couple hours. The real barrier isn't creating the store anymore. It's actually standing out from the crowd and acquiring new customers, right? That is the hard part. In fact, the Times or the Journal a couple months ago released a great article on this where they interviewed different merchants and how they are being creative to stand out from the crowd. And what a lot of those merchants said was, at its core, you have to build a customer community, right? You have to get out there, get your customers excited about your brand, get them posting content, repurposing that content because it is the best performing, authentic, engaging content you can have. It's funny, brands spend a lot of money and time on these very professional photo shoots with influencers and models promoting their products. But the easy iPhone picture that a customer takes when they're unboxing it or when they're putting it on, or they're going out to, a night on the town with those new shoes, that actually performs just as good, if not better. So getting more of that is the hard part. And even crazier to me is we have large clients that use our software and they get, hundreds of posts a day about them. And if they want to repurpose that content, they're still stuck screenshotting, in most cases, screenshotting the Instagram post or the story, writing it down on a Google spreadsheet, saving it somewhere, and then having to repurpose it and use it for an advertisement. All of that is crazy to me when we think about how far along we've come technologically. And so I built the software. It's continuing to evolve. We're rolling out like TikTok next month, like a whole bunch of stuff we'll go through. But at the end of the day, we're making it really easy for merchants to identify customers with influence and then engage them at scale, both from a standpoint of outreach communication, tracking any mentions they do, rewarding them, all this done automatically. It actually uses tools like Klaviyo and omnisend and Gorgias and Yotpo to make it super easy for brands to go live directly in the marketing stack they're already used to running. Does that all make sense? Big intro, but that's what we do.
Yeah, man, I love it. I'm excited to watch the workflow. I know I've seen this a bunch of times and we have some clients using it, but I'd love to see kind of how it works.
Yeah, happy to. So, you know how companies like Klaviyo and mailchimp, they sort of made email capture ubiquitous, right? You go to a website today, if you don't have an option to get 20% off or whatever, 10% off your purchase for your email address, like you might be fishing around for that pop-up because you want that discount code. So email address was the first major data collection point. Companies like Attentive and others have made phone number and SMS marketing pretty ubiquitous now. Of course, Klaviyo offers that too now. So consumers are used to giving their email and their phone number. Gatsby, our software, we've actually pioneered the concept of social capture, right? So you look at a company like Volcom Skate Company, this is their pop-up where they ask for email, but they're using Gatsby. And so they've added a field for Instagram username. That's how this works. In fact, I'm even going to pull up one live right now that just went live yesterday with us, rubberstamped.com. And let's hope it pops up here. This is a privy pop-up. It might be that I've already been to on this window. But if you go to rubberstamps.com out there, you'll probably get a privy pop-up and it shows Instagram handle. And then other companies like Benefit Cosmetics, they have a landing page, right? They're driving existing customers to go supply their Instagram handle. They have this linked in their header. right here. This goes to it. They have it linked in their contact page. They have it on social media. And then even a third and really popular way to collect handles, and this is actually the easiest way to go live, is adding a field at your order confirmation page. And we actually have a really easy guide here. It takes 5 minutes, no code required, no engineering resources if you're using Klaviyo. And you can just go and add a field to your post-purchase page, like Pair of Thieves here did, and ask for a handle right there at checkout. So, so far, nothing too crazy is happening. You're just asking for one more data point. And we find that about 15 to 20% of consumers who give their email address in an optional pop-up will choose to give their handle as well. So are there any questions you think, Chase, from at that point of just identifying Instagram handles?
No, I think that part's straightforward. And the next part I think that you're going to talk about, right, is like where in particular in Klaviyo that data is stored and how do you actually leverage it?
Yeah, so first off, like the handle itself is pretty useless, right? Unless there's any data attached to it. That's where Gatsby comes in, right? So the moment you submit an Instagram handle into a Gatsby connected form, again, any form works, Klaviyo, Privy, WisePops, type form, it doesn't matter. You can connect it to Gatsby. And then secondly, those handles all pass to your Gatsby account. This is Gatsby. And we will immediately go ahead and pull in insights for you. So that individual's profile photo, how many followers they have, people that they follow, how many posts they've done. We will do a light scoring system as well, A through D. With D's more or less spammy, like our system thinks they're probably more like a bot. And then we even have their bio pulled in too. So if you are looking for particular keywords in somebody's handle or bio, you can easily pull in that. So if author was what I'm looking for, you can see author in all of these handles and bios. So that's kind of the next step, is just being able to identify and rank and filter your customers by influence here in Gatsby. In fact, you can even go and put them into different categories. So if you want to work with a certain number of people on a one-off campaign, you can tag them as such, look at their information separately. And all of this, these tags, all this data, here's where your question came up, all flow back to Klaviyo or omnisend or Gorgias or Yotpo or other tools you might be using. So that's where it really becomes powerful. Let's go ahead and look at that side now. So here's the Gatsby component. And if we go to my other screen, we'll see here Klaviyo. So this customer test at Gatsby.ai, this is a customer who bought your goods. And on the right-hand side here, you will now see all their Instagram data we pulled in on them. And this is layered on top of everything else you know about them, right? Their purchase history, their engagement on your newsletters, all of that is now tied in. So you can probably see where I'm going with this. But you can create really powerful segments and flows that incorporate influence into them. So when we launched this integration with Klaviyo back in October of 2020, we actually went to market with them. They announced this on their newsletters, everything. And I think the tagline was, unlock new Klaviyo flows for influencer marketing, right? And that's what we do here for Klaviyo. So let's dive into that. So here's a customer record with data from Gatsby. And when you become a Gatsby customer on our business and plus plans, we offer you guys Klaviyo flow templates. So let's look at what those look like. We essentially have 5 templates we'll clone over to your account. The first one is going to be an outreach flow. So what it's saying is, when somebody gives you their Instagram handle, let's have Klaviyo check to see how many followers they have, right? And if they have between 1 to 500 followers, let's make them this particular offer to go and post about our brand, right? It could be, in this case, it could just be a question, like, would you post about us? Like, it could be a small discount code, nothing that's going to break the bank because their influence is relatively low, but it does get you more content to repurpose. So you want to get that offer out at that level. And then even better, because we do mention tracking, we do content tracking as well. And I'll show more about this in a second. We also can say, hey, if they haven't mentioned you yet in the next 5 or 10 days, go ahead and remind them about that too. So this entire flow is automated from start to finish. So you can see where I'm going with this, but this is the 1 to 500 influence level. Here we go from 500 to 2,500. And again, you can play with these numbers. Same concept, different offer. So it'll be like the same email, but maybe just change the offer in it. And this goes all the way through to like 4 or 5 different segments that we carved out. And at the end of this flow, it says, hey, if somebody has a lot of influence in our demo account here, let's say it's 25,000 Instagram followers, we don't want to automate our outreach to them. We want to actually maybe build a longer term relationship with that customer influencer. So instead of emailing them, we just go ahead and ping ourselves internally with a notification saying, hey, so-and-so on our team, they should get an email anytime a customer signs up who has a lot of influence. Any questions, Chase, that you think at this point?
No, this is sweet. I love this.
It's at this point, usually customers go, wow, this is awesome. And then they ask me, is there any way to make sure we don't give away stuff until they actually post? And that's what the next component here is. So back in Gatsby, I'll show you, we are doing listening on all the accounts that give you their handle. So as long as a customer gives you their handle, we can listen in for when they post content about you. So here we're showing that 12 of my demo account customers have mentioned me in content. Here's the 12 of them. And down here, I can actually see the content itself. So don't mind these icons. This was an old demo account, but essentially we do save the content for you indefinitely. So I'm actually going to look at some stories too to show you. So like, here's a post, and here's the raw image from that post. So you don't have to worry about screenshotting it or anything. You can just save it right from Gatsby. You can export this, and it includes the URL to it, which is saved to your account indefinitely. And we also track stories, including the video file. So here's a story video, and you can see it's all saved here as well for you. We pull in the number of likes and comments that a post receives every 5 minutes, I think it is, to calculate an engagement score on that. And stories, we pull in impressions, reach, replies, taps backs, and taps forward. This is actually updated at the 24-hour mark. I obviously have some pretty weak stories here. -1 is what Instagram provides if it's like under 10, data points. We have really small test accounts, but the data does flow in here. And so now you can go and you can look at this media, you can save the content, you can sort it by engagement rate. You can even go up here and pull in an aggregate level of engagement, either for all your clients or just for those cohorts you've decided to segment out. Maybe you're already working with 100 influencers from before Gatsby. You can put them into Gatsby and track them independently here. But where this all comes home is that this event of them mentioning you on Instagram, we pass this event back to Klaviyo as well. So looking back at Klaviyo, this will trigger the next flow, which is the mentioned you flow. So here we're saying, if somebody has mentioned you on Instagram and they have not received this flow before, let's proceed, right? And it says here, if they have that first bucket of influence, they get this email. If they have more influence, they get their appropriate email with their appropriate reward. We even are seeing customers now going in and creating a more intricate flow that says, hey, if somebody mentions us 3 times, they get this other offer, right? And 5 times. And so you can really build a whole program around this, both for kind of the long tail as well as your main influencers you work with as well. I'll take a break and see if you have any questions on any of this Klaviyo side, and I'll show you Gorgias and Yotpo as well.
No questions on Klaviyo. I have a question at the end that we can come back to around like what type of incentive or offers or like of your clients using Gatsby, like who's having success? Are they giving out, exclusive group access? Are they giving out this percentage off, this dollar off? Just any kind of direction and guidance around like where does someone start? They're sold on Gatsby. They want to use this. They're just trying to figure out now, how do we approach influencers in an offer that's going to be beneficial for the brand and the influencer?
Typically, they're doing promotion code based incentives. So either it's a discount off or it's a free item, but using promo codes to receive it. And they're unique codes used, through the Klaviyo Shopify integration. You can create a unique code on the fly. So as long as it's scalable, that's what's working the best. Trying to manually ship out products is not the approach we're trying to take here. We do see a really wide array. We have a client that's a bikini brand in Australia going live next week. I've already seen the landing page set up. They're offering a trip to this tropical island, as part of their incentive to give their handle, right? Like they're really doing a whole campaign around this. And so we see a wide array of incentives. The best part is you can play with this, right? So it's not hard to change the structure. Typically, it's pretty straightforward structure, like 10, 20, 30, 40, $50 off, or 10%, et cetera, off, keeping it pretty straightforward. Because again, this are your normal customers and they're already buying your products. So getting an incentive to buy at a discount is usually great, especially since they're 1,000 followers, not trying to make make a living off of their followers. So
yeah, I think the key thing that you just mentioned that I really like about this versus kind of other more traditional influencer programs is the fact that like these people are coming inbound, right? These people are on your website. They're either about to become a subscriber, they're a current customer, they're about to become a customer, right? So these people are coming to you, right? Whether they found you through another influencer, or they found you through SEO, through paid ads, through affiliate, right? These people are coming in. So it's so much easier because they already have some brand awareness, right? They have some brand affinity. Whereas the more traditional approach is pushing cold emails or cold DMs to influencers that probably never ever heard of you, nor probably care about you, right? So I like this kind of more inward thing where they're basically raising their hands and you're able to reach out to them and say, hey, Brett, you're an influencer. I really want you to rep my brand. And you really like us. So this is more of a lighter, kind of easier ask.
100%. And even for those larger brands that are getting a lot of inbound requests, it's overwhelming. They have to deal with like responding on Instagram DM with a message, and they have to add them to a Google spreadsheet, and it's a whole thing, or ship them out products. What we're finding is they're just dropping a link to their landing page saying, hey, great, go apply for it. Here's the landing page. It asks them for email and handle, and everything else just kicks off automatically. So it makes the process for that influencer marketing manager so much easier.
Yep. Awesome.
I'm just showing an example here, a few examples. This is one of our clients. This is their beautifully well-designed email flow sequence. I don't want to overwhelm listeners. Like, you don't have to have such a beautiful, layout. But this is how they did it. And you can see they just kept it generic in the opening email saying you'll receive a special discount code. Some brands do put exactly what the code will be, or not the code, but the offer will be in this. To give you some more examples here, like another one here, again, same concept. If I can scroll up. This one's saying you'll get $10 off your next purchase, giving them more instructions. So just some examples here. And then in the reward email, or even this is a plain text email that performs well, right? Relatively plain text. You can do this. And in the reward sequence, like here's an example of a client that's saying on your first mention, you get this code. And I don't think free shipping necessarily is the best approach, since a lot of companies already offer free shipping, but it's a relatively small offer for the first mention. They get a different email for the fifth mention, and so on. I can show you one more example here. So here's like that plain text email. Here's their, this will generate a unique code when it's actually sent out. It's a Klaviyo integration feature. Here's another example, right? Thanks for the mention. As promised, here's your code. Pretty straightforward to go live with this stuff. Before I switch gears to show Gorgias and Klaviyo, which are pretty quick, are there any other questions, Chase, that you think or you have top of mind?
No, this is solid. Thank you.
So then let's just look quickly here. So Gorgias, the use case is that you have customer support agents who are engaging with your customers all day long, and a lot of them could be influencers, and your agents don't know. And I'm not saying you want to treat an influencer better than a non-influencer client or a customer, but you may want to know that information. So if somebody reaches out asking for free product, which they do through the support channels, your agents are aware of who they are. I heard a story about this large cosmetics brand. This influencer reached out to support saying they wanted to do a collaboration. The agent said, no, we don't offer free stuff or something like that. And it turns out it was like a 2 million follower account, and the influencer emailed the CEO, and you don't know who you're talking to, right? And to have that in just additional layer of data helps your agents perform better, right? And then even further, if you have a great support experience and you know this customer has a few thousand followers, you could be incentivized to say, hey, go post about this experience and we will give you this reward, right? So you actually turn bottom of funnel support into a top of funnel marketing channel as well. And then people who use Yotpo loyalty, this is a really cool integration. We haven't even announced it yet. It's just live, but we haven't gone through the announcement with Yotpo yet. You can actually create a custom action. So you can designate, okay, you get 25 points for your first purchase, you get 10 points for this, you get 50 points for mentioning us on Instagram. And all you have to do is just follow a few quick steps to set up the integration, and that will trigger automatically for anybody who's in Yotpo and Gatsby.
Yeah, man, this is sweet. I think this is really thorough, right? So essentially, to recap, you showed us how you actually acquire the handle, right? So on some kind of pop-up fly out some kind of form. You're actually collecting the handle. That then feeds into Klaviyo, omnisend, whatever ESP someone's using. Gatsby is providing the layer of enrichment where you're able to learn more about each particular person, how many followers they have, how many people they're following, what their kind of preliminary score is, A, B, C, D, and then the ways in which you can automate contacting these people, right? So sending them a message, letting them know you get free shipping, you get 10% off, you get free product if you do these types of things. Once someone posts, right, it automates the outreach to them, thanking them, whatever it might be. Yep. And then it also plugs into other tools that people are using in their stack to make it that much easier for a support person to know, hey, this customer that has this question or wants this has this many followers or that many followers, tying it into rewards and building out that loyalty program. This is really solid.
I have one more thing to share that's even like, I think the best part is clients see this, they get really excited, and then they get overwhelmed by like, how do I actually implement this, right? What are the integrations like? How much work is involved? Well, I can tell you this much. Designing your emails themselves, it's going to vary by brand, right? It could be as quick as 10 minutes through plain text, or it could be a month, right? With all different approvals you might have to go through for your design. But we can get you up and running, collecting handles from your current website or forms, and syncing the data to Klaviyo, Gatsby, Yotpo, et cetera, Klaviyo Gorgias, Yotpo, et cetera, in under an hour. It's so quick. And the best way to do it is either put it into a current pop-up, which takes, you don't have to design anything. You just add a field to that pop-up, make it optional, and you're done. Or at the order confirmation page, we found it to be so successful. If you're on Shopify and you're using Klaviyo, we have this guide available now. We just released this actually this week because we just discovered how quickly this could be implemented. And we have a video, it's a 2-minute video showing the entire process. But basically, to go live with Gatsby in a Klaviyo form, all you have to do is create a Klaviyo form that asks for email and handle, okay? On the Instagram handle field, just make sure you give it the property of Insta username. That's it. Click save and install the form, and you're done. If this is a pop-up, you're done. If it is an embedded form, that order confirmation, all you have to do is paste that embed code on your Shopify settings page right here, and it'll show up on your order confirmation page, just like this for you. It takes 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. It's not hard at all to go live and start getting handles. I know Black Friday is coming up. We're already hearing clients, getting in that mindset. Under an hour, you can actually get the most advantage of Black Friday. With your highest traffic spikes, you'll get more handles, more influencers. If you don't want to deal with the email marketing yet till Q1, fine, but just get the handles, get the data so you can get that kickoff in the new year.
Yeah, I want to double down on that point. I think collecting the data, you should do that ASAP. So for me, on a quick tangent, I obviously have an email newsletter. I just started SMS, and man, I wish I started collecting SMS, even if I wasn't going to use it right away. I've got 23,000 subs on my newsletter. Now I have 200, 300 people on my SMS. I can only imagine how big that list would be had I just started collecting it. Maybe I wouldn't be using it until now. So I think that part of just collecting it, that way it's there. It's going to stack. It's going to build. If you want to use it in a week, in a month, in 6 months, right? It's there. So I would start just building it, collecting it. Obviously, right? Hopefully you have the email set up sooner rather than later, but just get step one out of the way.
Yeah. And we can do that on a call with any clients. Like either you do it on your own or you can schedule a call with us and we'll walk you through it. But I agree, like it's silly, brands are spending so much time and money and energy on social media and they're not asking for this handle yet, and it's just, to me, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah, agreed. All right. So it's Gatsby.ai. That's the website. Yeah. What about in terms of social handles? Is it Gatsby AI on social?
Yes. On Instagram, it's Gatsby.ai. LinkedIn, I think we're just Gatsby. I think we're Think Gatsby on Twitter. But if you go to our website and you just chat us, and I'll just pull them up right now, Instagram.com/Gatsby.ai. That's our handle here. The best place, though, is really LinkedIn. That's where we post the most relevant content, given that we are working with B2B, right? So if you go to LinkedIn and you search for Gatsby, and then you'll find our little green logo. Just follow us there. Follow me. I repost a lot of good stuff. And if you're on Shopify, I highly recommend using our app. because it will make your go live process even easier. There's no code to mess with. The billing is all through Shopify, super easy to go live with us. Let me get rid of you can see our reviews here, 60, all 5 stars. Really proud of that.
Yeah, it's solid.
So you just go to our page here and add the app. It's, there's a free trial. There's no billing required till you actually are at the launch campaign step where you're like middle of the setup process. So you can start now and kind of just, there's no pressure on it,
Amazing. Brett, thank you so much. The links will be below. Appreciate your time and your insight. This was great.
Happy to do it, Chase. Thanks for having me on.
Of course. All right, thanks.